We're here at the Architectural Digest Designs Show, and we got to see a lot of really cool artists today. It's kind of a horrendously rainy Saturday, but I got to talk to some of New York's coolest people.
Are you having fun?
Yeah, I'm having a great time. I'm a little tired because we spent the entire day chatting with designers, but we got to speak to some really phenomenal people, lots of incredibly talented artists. It was a lot of fun.
And we have also talked to a lot of first-timers as well. And it's really inspiring, really amazing venue. It's huge and so many people turned up. I'm here with Prithvi, and we're here for the UnCommonCore podcast. And our producer is Tom Howell. And we're here having fun, and hope you enjoy the podcast.
You're listening to the UnCommonCore podcast.
So, do you mind telling us a little bit about your brand, your name, what you're doing here?
Okay, my name is Holly Heller, and I live in Los Angeles now, but I grew up in New Jersey and spent most of my life in New Jersey. I was a textile designer, and I taught textile design in universities, art centers, and I teach workshops. And what I do is I take fabric, and I print on it, I dye it, I bleach it, I really process it, and then I collage with it. So I combine paper and fabric together. And also I do large installations. So I'll make small pieces, small collages, and then I put them together into a large piece on the wall. So all of my work is mainly hangs on the wall, but I like to work large, but I also like to work, I guess I'm very process oriented, so I like the time. I like to take time. I like the processes. I kind of say painting is too fast for me. Like if a brush, like this. So I'd like to take maybe some things I paint and then cut them up and then use them in other ways. I use a lot of antique fabrics, old quilts. I go to flea markets all the time and tag sales, and I pick up fabrics from old scarves and whatever I can find, whatever colors are attractive to me. And then I bring them back to the studio and I start laying them out and I start layering them and creating these collages.
So tell me about this main piece here. We're looking at, it's a bunch of, it seems like very small component collage pieces put together into a big one.
This summer, I got this idea to take some small pieces of wood and just to make my collages on top of the wood. And so then I started kind of going to lumber yards and having them cut me wood. And then I realized that I could find children's blocks and work on those. So all of it is wood except for the purple, which is insulation board actually. So I like the idea of repurposing materials as well. So when I go through like Home Depot or something, I see things differently. I try to not to think logically. I try to think, that would be a great material to work with. I like the idea of working with something and you're not quite sure what it's made out of. Like those cups over there, a lot of people are unsure what it's made out of. It's polymer clay, but I mix the colors myself. So I buy the clay and then I sit there and I really mix the colors and make little pinch pots, thousands and thousands of pinch pots. So I've done large installations with those.
How would you describe you're calling them pinch pots, how would you describe them for our listeners?
They're little cups. I would say they're little cups made out of clay, and I make them by hand. So each one, you can see my fingerprints on them. And that's important to me because I really want people to see the hand in the work, and that it's not like mass-produced. So most of my work has that quality to it. So,
do you mind telling me a little bit about all this color? I mean, the first thing I was drawn to when I saw your booth was I just see like light purples, bright greens, bright yellows, pink. It's very colorful and exuberant. Can you talk to me about that?
A lot of color in my work. I started off as a textile designer, like I said, so I was used to using color combinations and color schemes where you might have like 8 or 9 colors in a row and you kind of mix the colors up and you use them in the designs. So that's where I'm coming from with color is I isolate the colors. I try to isolate them, and that's what those little cups, each one is an isolated color, and then when you combine them, they have this kind of, it's a whole nother look of combining the colors together. And I work a lot with gradations, so I like the idea of one kind of the colors changing slowly as your eye moves across the piece. But this piece over here, the large piece, is just really, it's almost like a mosaic. Yeah. It's like, I love that idea of making small pieces and then making large pieces out of it. And sometimes I don't have a preconceived idea of what it's going to look like. I almost never do. I'll just start working on some small pieces in my studio, and I have them stacked around, and then I'll have the opportunity to make an installation on a wall in a gallery, and I bring all of my pieces with me, and I just kind of like on the spot work it out. So it's not a preconceived design. I just kind of do it very intuitive. It's very intuitive, put it that way, a very intuitive way of working.
Is it your first time at this design show?
Yeah, this is my third year, and each year I've had totally different work. So it's, I think some people recognize maybe some of those cups because I had some similar last year, but mostly all of this was done in the last year. All this work was started pretty much last summer, and I just kept on working with it. I used to be, like I said, a textile designer, so I always used to work with fabric, and then I started working with paper. And then just recently I decided I want to get back into working with fabric again. So I'm doing like mono printing, I'm doing stamping, I'm doing block printing. I'm doing a lot of techniques that are old techniques, that are ethnic techniques, maybe from India, from Africa. I'm very influenced by ethnic design and primitive art. So I want my work to have that kind of a feeling to it.
And who's buying your stuff? Like, what does your classic consumer look like?
A lot of interior designers, and I do a lot of commission work. I have a lot of work in hotels, Hyatt's, Hilton's. I just did a commission for Morgan Stanley in Dallas. So I have an art consultant that I work with, and I do projects for them. So that gives me the opportunity to do some large pieces because I like to work large.
It doesn't surprise me that there's a corporate appetite for your work because I walk and see it and I immediately feel like I'm in a better mood.
Oh,
I'm imagining if I was, slaving away at JP Morgan, I'd feel a lot better if I saw something so bright and beautiful.
It makes me laugh because I think they're in this boardroom and they're all financial people and they're looking at something that is just so whimsical and different than probably what they're used to seeing every day. So it's like, that's what art is all about, right? It's to take somebody on a journey someplace, and hopefully that's what my work does. I hope that it kind of flickers some ideas, travel, especially travel, and the idea of international, not just, but not really pinpointing exactly what it is, because I don't want it to feel like it resembles something like specific. Sure. So I'm trying to be always true to myself, and creativity is very important to me. I mean, I look at a lot of art, and I walk by a lot of art in galleries and museums, and a lot of times I walk past things because I feel like I've seen it so many times before. So my hope is to try to make things that people haven't seen before, and so that stop and really look at it. And I guess I feel like the longer people look at it, that's the more successful that the art is. So
I love that. Can you remind us what your brand is and where we can find you on the internet?
My name is Holly Heller. I was born with that name, Hollie. I live in Los Angeles now and Costa Rica. I have a studio in Costa Rica and a home in Costa Rica, and I teach art there.
Okay, and what's the name of your brand?
My brand is just Holly Heller, Transcendent Nature.
Amazing. And where can people find you on the internet?
My website is hollieheller.com. And I have a lot of links to different websites because I have my teaching and I have my installation work, so I have a lot of various things on the website.
I have people that listen that are from different parts of the country, and I know that it might be difficult to find in their town or in their home a staircase. You have all these amazing winding staircases. What's the name of the company?
It's Arcways, and we're out of Neenah, Wisconsin.
Okay, so they're built in the United States?
Yes, all of them.
Okay, so are there individual artists and designers that make each of these staircases, or is it all just kind of like a big factory where people kind of churn them out?
It's actually a small shop, and all of our employees have wood techniques and NOMA certification, so they're working with wood and steel, and we're fortunate to have an infrastructure at our local high schools, have wood links as curriculums, and that's why we're based in Wisconsin, the grassroots of really talented people coming out of high school and then into the technical schools has given us an opportunity to really thrive for 51 years.
In Wisconsin.
In Wisconsin.
Oh, you're like the third person here from has a little shop in Wisconsin. Yeah, there's a couple people from Wisconsin here.
It's really amazing, but the people are unaware that Wisconsin has more manufacturing employed than government employed. Indiana's number 2, and all the rest of the countries have more government employed than manufacturing. Wisconsin is an incredibly diverse manufacturing epicenter, and it's so well positioned in the Midwest, so we can go out east and out west, down south. And yet it, the manufacturing side, you walk outside here and you walk on a Neenah, Wisconsin manhole cover, to the Kleenex that you blow into, to the diversified aspect, all the window and door companies, Sub-Zero down here. They're all in Wisconsin. They don't really want to, we love to publicly say the reasons why. They think that all the rest think we're a bunch of cheese factory people. But we do a lot of durable products.
Right.
All your magazines and the paper that's printed, almost everything at the newsstand is printed in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin.
That's really interesting. How many employees do you have? How big is the company?
We're small. We're less than 50 employees.
And now, what's the process, just real quick, in coming up with the staircase? Do you meet with the client and then decide on a design, or do you have the designs ahead of time and they pick what they want for their place?
The architect, designer, ASID, or homeowner would contact us and send us their preliminary floor plans. We then will work with the designer and architect. They need our expertise to help design the whole vision that the customer has. Then we do detailed shop drawings, which takes a couple of weeks, and then about 10 to 12 weeks we're in production, delivering the stair all in one piece with the railings off, right through their front door or craned through the roof into place, and then we come back maybe a month or two later to reassemble, put the railings up. So we have this controlled factory environment versus trying to attempt to do such intricate work in the field. It's being done in a controlled shop environment.
Yeah, I guess a lot of things are done that way nowadays. But what about do you refinish or refurbish or work on older staircases, or you just make them brand new?
We do work on historical. We just finished last fall Cartier's Fifth Avenue 100 anniversary mansion. We did triple stacked curved stairways. We did all the raised paneling in the entryway all the way up to the 4th floor. Yes, that was but it's typically a full gut. The brownstone gets gutted, and this is a mansion on Fifth Avenue.
You kind of rebuild it.
Yes, they gutted the whole interior out and recreated their new vision.
Right, and one more quick question. The wood looks pretty amazing. What kind of wood is that?
All different species. Of course, we stay away from anything that's endangered. People are unaware, but hardwoods in the U.S., there is more standing mature hardwoods in the United States by the Department of Natural Resources verified than ever recorded today because of forest management.
Right.
They're doing a fabulous job. It's unfortunate we're not cutting enough material down to get the young growth, flourishing, because we've moved a lot of the furniture industry overseas. So we're not consuming at the rate we really should be, and that's why we see more forest fires, and it's really a shame because that is a renewable, truly probably the greatest renewable resource we have.
Well, they're farmed, they're managed, right? Most of the wood.
Farms and privately owned properties that are selectively cutting And you have to do that to get all the underbrush, all the other young growth to grow as well. You can't create a canopy effect. So that has to be cut down. But if there isn't enough of the material being utilized, well, then no one's going to come in and selectively cut any of the mature growth because there's not a market for it. So
Do you repurpose wood? Do you repurpose anything?
We will use some materials from a company that's cutting barn beams,
Right.
resawing barn beams,
bridges.
flooring materials, and create stairways from that recycled material.
Yeah, because the exotic woods a long time ago were popular from South America, but I don't see them around too much anymore.
Yes, I mean, you are true about that. It was mismanaged. Unfortunately, we would love to be given an opportunity to show them how this needs to be done.
Right.
And many lacewood and other species, actually not genuine mahogany, but Honduran mahogany was totally mismanaged and just clear cut and not replenished. And we will not purchase any of those species, the lacewood or the Honduran mahogany.
Right. Yeah, the United States actually has quite a variety of different kinds of wood. Actually, many
They
people
do.
don't realize it. Yeah, because of all the different climates and everything. Yeah. Well, this is great. I don't want to take up too much of your time, and I got some information. But and so, do you have a website or something if somebody wanted to look it up and
Yes.
find you in their hometown? I mean, do you have outlets, or how do you sell your product?
Mainly through shows like this, just keeping in front of all of our customers. And of course, yes, we have AdWords on Google and other search engines just to make sure those people that are looking for a one-of-a-kind custom stairway can type in custom stairway and we come right up at the top.
Yeah, because I've never seen you on like any of the PBS programs, any of the home builder programs, or anything like that.
Yeah, in the 80s, we were on a full episode of This Old House with Norm Abrams and
In the 80s.
Steve Thomas, and they actually came to Arcways for 2.5 days, filmed, and we were nominated for a Daytime Emmy. Our episode, we lost, but we were nominated for a Daytime Emmy. And
Well, that was 30 years ago. You need to get
know.
on another TV show.
We've been on the New Home Show, which is discontinued.
Right.
But we're dealing with such an extreme high end.
Right.
95% of our stairs are over $100,000 a piece, and normally, that the people that are watching those shows are probably not our clients.
Yeah, that's true.
And
So the
as hard
webs,
as that,
yeah,
you know,
the website is www.arcways.com. And yeah, it's true. I mean, you don't see spiraling staircases, but they're a work of art and they're a thing of beauty. And they're just, you have all these pictures around here, and it looks really great. I mean, so thanks for talking to me.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Have a great show.
Yeah, enjoy yourself. Keep warm.
We will. Well, we're from Wisconsin.
Oh, you're used to it. This is nothing.
We laughed when everything shut down on Tuesday.
Oh, well, we thought it was going to be a big storm.
Yeah.
But New York is never prepared for it. You know, I mean, I don't know why they don't.
I loved it. They had garbage trucks. They were using garbage trucks with plows on the front.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about the worst
Yeah.
way you could.
I mean, like in Singapore and other countries, they tool up for it. But it's like every year in New York, it's a surprise. It's like, well, oh, there's winter. What? Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
we haven't had this since last year. I don't know why they don't just tool up for it. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Hello. Okay. So, do you mind telling us your name and telling us a little bit about what you're doing at this design show today?
I'm Margot Nemirovsky. I'm from Connecticut, and I'm showing my paintings and my sculpture here at the Architectural Digest show.
Do you mind describing your paintings for our listeners?
My paintings, a lot of people describe as atmospheric. They're very soft. It's like looking through the fog. and also very large. I can do extremely tall or wide paintings that are appropriate for commercial or homes.
So when I look at your paintings, I see a lot of, grays, blacks, sort of, it reminds me of like a cloudy scenery. Why these colors? Why that atmospheric feel?
It's what I live on the water in Connecticut, and this is often my view. A lot of people paint beautiful pictures with blue skies. I paint the cloudy skies.
Is there a reason for that? Do you think that it's important for people to, be in touch with the cloudy reality?
It's just my way or my perception of the water. I love the softness of it and the cloud. There's never a non-beautiful day on the water, and I love portraying it through my paintings.
So you said you've been to the Architectural Digest show several times. What's the show usually like? How's it been this year?
This year, I think, has been incredibly well attended, very busy. I think I've been talking to people and talking about my work within 5 minutes after the show opened. I love the energy here. It's the only show I do, and it's I think one of the highest quality and one of the best attended, and a wonderful staff to work with.
No, it sounds like it. It's my personal first year here, and I'm loving it. I'm seeing so much diverse art and very different artists. It's really exciting. I have to ask, tell me about your sculpture, because I'm trying to begin to sort of describe it to a listener. How would you describe it?
I will tell you its name. It's called Taking Flight, and it looks like, some people say, a bird or a boat, and in reality it's a Pontiac door that was crushed, and someone told me it was probably from the 50s because it was so degraded, and I have treated it with a rust inhibitor and had it welded to a base, and it's just floating. And the response has been incredible.
Can you tell me?
Guys.
I want to hear about what guys have been saying.
They just stand in front of it and love it. They really can't explain exactly why. It's rustic, but it's very energetic, which also describes my paintings, but it's just flows. And although there are other people that have successfully worked in carcasses, if you want to call them that, mine is very feminine and very elongated and has a sense of flow.
Where did you find this Pontiac door?
In the back of an old Pontiac dealership.
I love it. I love it.
That's why I say it's probably a Pontiac.
Where can people find you on the internet?
I have a website, margonemirovsky.com, and all my information is there.
Do you mind spelling out your name?
Margot, M-A-R-G-O-T, Nemirovsky, N-I-M-I-R-O-S-K-I.
Amazing. Thank you for talking to me. That was wonderful. Great.
Sweet.
Celebrated our 40th anniversary last year. So we're 41 years old now, and Best is kind of going down two different paths in terms of product. We're working on creating and maintaining incredible vistas in a residence, and also creating focal points of art yet performance in a home. Behind us, we also have another concept hood. It looks like a lamp, but it's actually a range hood. Again, creating a focal point of interest in a kitchen environment.
Okay, so I'm right here in some, this is basically high-end kitchenware, right?
Yes, we are high-end range hoods. We are designed in Italy, and what we do is we take into consideration trying to make something that is very simple and very basic into a work of art, and that's what we're doing here at the Best Range Hoods booth.
Okay, now the thing that I liked about your product is you have the ranges, they're flat, and there's heat induction they keep talking about, right?
Correct, and that's a really big focus of ours, is having things be flat, having things be out of sight. We have two areas of focus here. It's making range hoods be pieces of art, and also making range hoods that don't obstruct your view, so you can really have a completely open concept kitchen.
Okay, now one thing I was curious about is some cooks like open flame. Now, I mean, is there can you adjust the heat or can you simulate an open flame with this, or is just you just or not?
No, you can. And what we have heat sensory technology, and what it does is if they sense a lot of heat, it actually automatically turns up for you. So it kind of works for you and you don't really even need to think about it. What it does is it adjusts the fan speed when it senses heat. So if you have it on low and then you have you have something that requires a lot of fan power, it'll actually switch automatically so you don't even have to think about it.
Okay, the guy indicated an infrared setting there where you don't have to touch it.
Yes, we do have that.
And so that you can adjust the fan and it's a sensor?
Mm-hmm. That's the heat sensory technology I was talking about. It actually senses it automatically, yes.
Oh, okay. All right. And it's made out of stainless steel?
Correct. Yes, we have stainless steel. Some of our products come in black stainless. You'll see one right there. It actually is made partially of glass. We have a lot of different design options.
Oh, okay. And and different finishes, I suppose, too, right?
Yes.
And you said you work with you're Best, right?
Yes.
And you work with other designers to integrate the kitchen so that everything fits together.
Correct, yeah.
What are some of the other designers you work with? This one over here, which is what?
Yes, that is Wolf and Sub-Zero.
Okay.
They're a manufacturer they're kind of like a sister manufacturer. Their products work really well with our products. We integrate with them.
Mm-hmm. What is the price range of one of your vent systems?
I can't really
What's the range, though?
I can't really give you a range because it completely depends on where you're installing it, your duct work. It's best to just meet actually with a Best dealer, and they can work with you on your exact home and your needs. Because it completely.
Do they go out to people's house and take a look at it, or do they
You
usually?
can have designers. You can go to a dealer. A dealer can come out. It just completely depends on what you want and what the dealer is interested in doing.
And what I noticed a lot of them are talking about I guess the thing is the sound, how loud it is, right?
Yes, and that's one thing that Best is known for, along with Brown Newtone, which is our parent company. We're known for making some of the quietest range hoods available on the market today.
Thanks a lot. Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. Bye-bye.
So,
Why am I here?
well, yeah. Why have you come to the architecture?
Interior design. I mean, I like to do it on my own, simple, without any structure or anything. But I love looking at interior design, and I love the tablecloths, the napkins, texture. Yeah.
Are you here to hopefully buy today, or are you just looking around?
I think today I will just look around, but I'm getting all these things, all the contacts, and then I'm going to look at their website, and then maybe buy something if I really like it. But I love interior design. Appreciate it very much.
Is this the first year that you've come to this show specifically?
On the show, yes, but once we were invited by our architect to go to the building on 59, you can't go there. You have to be in the business, and we saw that, and I really liked it. That's why, actually, we came last year, but we came on the wrong day, which was only for the tradespeople. So, and my husband didn't want to come back the following day, but I'm here again this year.
Have you found anyone you really liked?
Among these things?
Yeah.
I love the what should I say? Yeah, the tablecloths and certain simple woodwork. I like it clean. Simple.
Are you from New York?
We lived in New York for 10 years until my daughter was born, but now we moved to New Jersey, which is only 35 minutes away. And my name is Bessie Scripps.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I was walking by and I noticed this really stands out as something like you would see this furniture you have, something in a museum. It seems like it's a work of art. How would you describe the way it looks? I mean, it's black and it's orange. You have some of them, you have a fabric on it, but the design and the shape is really unique. I don't know how to describe it. How would you describe it?
Well, my first approach was trying to see how I can embody a lot of artistic elements into furniture. So trying to change the perception of furniture by expressing more of the movement of the material. So trying to create very continuous expressive gestures, and also trying to expose certain voids to where I can try to create this balance between functional furniture that still maintains artistic elements that you see in sculpture. So
Yeah, I mean, it's hard these days because of all of the furniture design through, the modern period and all of the designers that have been out there for so long to come up with something that's unique and different, and that's the curves in your furniture, and it's just different. The chairs, for example, they look like works of art, and the table also. The table is really hard to do a table, but the chairs in particular. Where are they made? Are they made? Where are you from?
well, I'm based in Los Angeles, and all the work here is fabricated in Los Angeles as well. And so I take a lot of the contemporary, modern, clean lifestyle that I see in California, and I try to inspire that through my work.
What is the material made out of? Is that wood or is that metal?
Well, one of the chairs is metal, and we try to make a clean, very clean weld to where it creates like this fluid shape, and then trying to incorporate those linear or curvature shapes into creating an internal structure with the curves of the loops. And then with this is also with resin that you find in. They use this material for aerodynamics and for airplanes.
Aerolam?
Yeah, for airplanes, they make
Yeah.
that certain parts.
Yeah.
So it's very lightweight but durable.
That stuff is usually baked, isn't it? Or
Well, it's a resin, so
Okay.
they try to incorporate that into a mold to where it can be furniture. So something that's more lightweight but durable, but it's going to still provide that continuous, seamless look that I was trying to convey.
and the one in the middle, what is that made out of?
That's all in wood as well.
That kind of looks like wood, yeah, from a distance. Right. Well, I guess people will just have to go on your website. I can't. I'm pretty good at. I can usually at least try to describe things, but I can't with these. So that's good. It looks modern though. It looks like it should be sitting in a museum, or I don't know. Could somebody just throw this in a normal house setting though? I mean, or do you have to have a multi-million-dollar mansion for this?
No, I try to make it reasonably priced, but for these particular pieces, they're primarily statement pieces.
Right.
And mostly trying to show maybe what a material can do rather than what people might initially perceive it to be used for. So it's trying to change the perception of the material to where it can be more fluid, lightweight, trying to take this perspective as if the material wanted to express itself in a new and dynamic way.
Right. I think you need a little bit of room and a little bit of space, but that's going to be able to show the furniture off.
Right.
I think it would kind of hide it maybe in a regular person's house with a dog sitting on it. Might throw it off a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. So what's the website if they want to look at some of this stuff?
JasonMizrahi.com.
So that's your name,
Right.
JasonMizrahi.com.
Right.
Mizrahi.
Mizrahi.
Where are you from? What's that from?
Well, my parents are originally from Greece. I was born in California.
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting name. I never heard it. Well, hey, thanks for talking to me. I hope people look it up and check out your stuff. You have more on the website, right? And are they a little bit more affordable things and some exotic things? Oh, you got a catalog, right? Oh, okay. You got a desk, and you got a dinner table. Okay, mirrors are good. Yeah.
Well, we're trying to transition to more functional pieces. So this is primarily just more statement, artistic, sculptural type of pieces. But we're trying to transition to creating a lot more affordable. So we're trying to create a well-balanced look that more people can accommodate into their home.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the problem is people kind of have a life that they have to live, in the house too. So it's hard to find a room just to exhibit the stuff. But sometimes it's worth it if you can,
Yeah, we're trying to
like a peaceful place in the house.
Right, we're trying to accommodate both lifestyles. So right now this is primarily for like high-end, maybe sculptural environment.
Yeah, I'm picturing like a high-end audio room or something like that, where somebody's got their stereo set up or their TV or something like that. All nice stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, hey, thanks a lot, huh? Thanks for talking to me. Okay, so why don't you tell me, for people listening, what it is you have? Because I was just walking by, and I like a nice wooden lamp that you have here that's very, I guess, modern and minimalistic looking, made out of, what kind of wood is that?
I don't know exactly the the species of wood, but
But it's light. It's light. It looks very Scandinavian.
yeah, it is a Belgian company. The company is called Royal Britannia. Royal Britannia creates luxury outdoor furniture, and all of the furniture has a very modern, low-key kind of aesthetic, but with lots of nice little details. Like, for example, on this couch you're looking at, we have a raised platform with cushions on top of it, and the platform is raised on these white legs, and the legs are held in place with a large-scale dovetail.
Okay, now it kind of looks like a platform bed, but the couch, it's an L shape, and the couch covers about 3/4 of it, and then you have a little section that looks like a sort of like a deck that comes extending outside of the couch, right? And so that's the whole unit.
Yeah, that's the entire unit. It's comes in modules, so you can mix and match the different modules to create a configuration that fits the particular layout that you're constrained to on your deck. And the use of the natural stained wood is part of an aesthetic of being outdoors and being in the sun, and the
This is kind of like for a patio that's enclosed, maybe. Can this actually sit outside?
Yes, yeah, I can sit outside if that was the condition that you were required to meet. Behind the couch, the wall is covered with some unfinished patinaed gray wood. That wood has been recovered from barns either in Canada or Europe, and has been cleaned up and milled and is available as a finished material. So if you're looking for a really rusticated aesthetic with a beautiful natural patina, that wood will fit the bill.
Yeah, it's very unique. It's gray. It doesn't really look whitewashed. That's the natural color then, right? That's the natural color of the wood?
Yeah.
Gray like that?
Yeah,
Wow.
more or less. Some woods can age different colors depending on...
Right, I guess it's aged. I guess that's what makes it kind of look unique.
Exactly, and you really can't fake it to get that kind of look. You just have to it got that look from being in a structure out in the weather for many years, and was in sufficiently good condition that it could be recycled and used for something else.
Is this popular in the United States, or is your main market in the United States, or you're an international company?
Well, this showroom is a collective of brands, and the wood is by Atmosphere and Bois, and they are based in Canada, and they recover wood from Canada and import it from Europe. I can't say how large the market is for it, but I think that there are lots of designers who are interested in a natural aesthetic for some of their finishes. Maybe an obvious one for natural finish, which you might not think of it as a natural finish, is exposed brick.
Yeah, that's if for the people who don't know New York City, that's one of the elements people look for. They look for sun, and they look for windows and exposed brick. It's a very big thing in rentals in New York City. They're willing to sacrifice in order to get that exposed brick. Yeah, that's a very urban thing. So I guess the wood you're saying is very similar in that regard.
Yes, it's the same approach in which you say what is essential is the material in its natural condition, without going to extremes to change it, to fake it into turning it into something else. You let the brick be brick, the wood be wood, the concrete be concrete. It's a very modern ethos, truth to materials. It's very 20th century, and it still makes sense in terms of creating a beauty that is authentic.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. I mean, I know that people, if they can afford it, they buy the old houses like in Nashville and places like that, and they keep it authentic. They keep the wood, the real old wood, and people that can't, live there, they live in New York, and they kind of try to bring this kind of authenticity into their modern apartments and their modern homes. I don't know how popular it is. I know it used to be popular like 10 or 15 years ago, but I guess it still is. So you guys, you're not sure, but are you new to the New York area, or you've been here quite a while?
Well, I've been in New York for 10 years, and this showroom is a collective of brands, and I actually work for one of them, which is Delta Light, and that's a lighting manufacturer, and I'm a lighting designer. So the depth of expertise I have is focused around the lighting.
Is this your light right here, the lamp we're looking at? With it's like an old-fashioned round. How would you describe it? Like the old hat box kind of a.
Drum shade, I'd
Yeah,
say.
drum or like a drum. Like it's like a drum or a hat box. That's kind of like a modern design. Is it inspired by the modern art, or is it completely all original? I mean, some of the modern furniture.
That lamp is by Royal Britannia, and what I've noticed about these Belgian design brands is they tend to have a very minimalist, modern aesthetic. And even though this lamp is not by the company I'm working for, my company, Delta Light, is a Belgian company. If you compare the two side by side, you'll see that they have a very similar sensibility to them, a similar vocabulary about them. So with this lamp that has 4 simple legs of rectangular in cross section, braced together at the bottom with another straight piece of lumber coming together in a cross shape. It's very stable, but very minimal. There's really the function of the pedestal. It reads clearly. It's wide at the bottom. It's narrow at the top.
Right, it's like a little, kind of like a bird cage, but it's sort of Scandinavian, a little bit of I would say a Scandinavian design, but the build is like, people I think in the United States appreciate shaker furniture. I mean, people that are into furniture. So they like the very basic, like you said, the very, without using necessarily nails, and putting the stuff together just using, just like you say, joints or, I don't know, but it looks like this one's glued. But yeah, I think it's appreciated now more and more.
I think so. It's the advantage of this kind of style is that it ages very well. It's the kind of look that can hold up over a long period of time and still look good, not feel too dated. That's one thing I really appreciate about it.
Right, I guess that's the thing about the wood is that, yeah, it ages and it looks different and it looks better. And metal doesn't always accomplish that. I mean, it tries to accomplish it sometimes, but I'm not quite so sure it does. And your name is what?
My name is Mark.
Okay.
And I work with Delta Light.
And what's the website for this little display here that has the? Do you know the website? I mean,
Yes.
Is it Ernest or?
Yes, it's Ernest NY. Let me get a card.
Okay. Oh yeah, I like the right.
ERNESTNY.com.
Yeah, ERNESTNY.com. And you have furniture out in the middle of a field. That's I like that. I've seen that before.
This photograph is a rendering of the Ernest cabin. The Ernest cabin has been fabricated from recovered lumber by Atmosphere and Bois. It's going to have Delta Light inside, and it's portable. It was fabricated in Canada.
Oh, okay.
And it is a portable little house.
Yeah, it's a little square brick. It almost looks like a television, old-fashioned monitor TV, and then the front is a glass doors that open up into like a little room.
Yes. So you can step out into the great outdoors, and it will eventually be for sale. We're using it for
Is that like one of the tiny house movement, sort of? You know what I mean, right? You know the tiny house movement?
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, tiny house. There's all kinds of things on Instagram and on Facebook. People are and there's a movie. People are into what they call tiny houses, and they build these little small houses on the back of pickup trucks, and they can move and they move them around, or they're just little containers, shipping containers, and things like that. And people actually move and live in them. And they're like this. It's called the tiny house movement.
Okay.
And it's a tiny house, is what it is.
This could be a tiny house. It
Yeah.
could function that way. Eventually, Ernest is going to auction it off. We're using it as a display model at this point, but when it's available, if somebody wants to buy a tiny house that's really gorgeous and bring it out to his or her own Walden pond to enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah, some of them are being built in the backs of other houses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, hey, it was fun talking to you, and this looks like this is a great picture and a wonderful little brand. So
Okay,
thanks a
great.
lot. What's your name again?
Mark.
Mark. Okay, thanks a lot.
You've been listening to the Uncommon Core podcast with Thomas Howell. I'm Satoko Smith. Thank you for listening.